Right, hey guys and girls, here is my fast lap on the leaderboard for AusNZ Simracing's Tuesday Thunder. This week we've got the WTCC 2017s at Salzburgring. This is me in the Lada stock setup. So here we go. Down to start for the straight, obviously it's just flat to the floor. Now here at the first corner I brake at about the 150 mark just before, and here there's a little access road on the left. That's where you want to have your braking basically finished and start turning in. It looks like it's too early, but if you just try and go that little bit extra, I find that I overshoot the first bit of the chicane and you're well slower out of the chicane. Now you take a lot of the curb in the chicane, especially on the first right-hander. I find if I don't, then the second curb is a bit more bumpier and it will throw you off the track. So don't take as much of the second curb. Don't get on the throttle too hard right here, because otherwise you'll just drift to the left. Here we're braking at or just before this red marker. I try to straight shoot here towards this here because I find I'm more consistent there. It might not be quite as fast, but I find I have less lockups and run wide in the middle of the corner. Now when you're braking into this corner, into third gear down, if you think you're going a bit fast when you get into third turning in, I find it's best to just let the brake off and the throttle, just keep the steering cranked over, and the front it'll sledge a bit, but then the front will grip up and you'll turn in. Then once it's turned in, you can feather a bit of throttle on. As you'll see in the trace, I use a bit of throttle to try and turn it, and then I try and get the car as straight as possible on the exit and accelerate, because I find it better if you try to drift it out like a rear-wheel drive car. It just doesn't work. See, I keep it tight in here and then I straighten and accelerate. Here obviously it's just flat out into sixth. Try to keep your steering inputs as minimal as possible. Try and keep the speed, and of course take the shortest line down the straight. Now here I'm at this access road again. I'm off the throttle, and in a split second later I'll turn it in. Letting off the throttle earlier than steering lets the weight transfer to the front. Then you turn. Don't crank a heap of steering angle because you'll just overload the front tyres, and you'll see it wobble around a little bit. And then you'll sort of see it grip up, and then you can start to blend back into the throttle. You'll see me get back into the throttle. I'm not sure whether fifth gear or sixth gear is better in the Lada on this corner. It's just one of those things where it's a bit of judgment at the time. Now you can get on the throttle quite hard in the second part of this corner until the next corner. And now I'm on the throttle here again. Now braking at or just before this red marker that's behind the pillar here, you got to trail. I find I have to trail brake into this corner, down into third. Again, it's off the pedals in the middle of the corner, around the apex, waiting. At the end of the corner there seems to be a bit of camber that pulls the car in, and when you see the front of the car will turn, then you know you can get back on the throttle a little bit, not too much though, because it's only a short little acceleration area past this corner. Now here I find myself wanting to accelerate for longer than I should, because the left-hander here looks like it's further away than it is. You just need to do a little, about halfway along this access road is where you need to off the throttle, brake. I find I brake a bit more than I think I should, and then you can turn into this left-hander better keep it tight to the left, and then you get the right hander better and onto the main straight better. Just feather the throttle through here. As you flick left, off the throttle and on again, and it helps it turn. Then just flat. That's a lap. I'll do a lap in chase cam just so you can see the lines a little bit better. I might add a little bit of commentary as well. So there's a lot of curb there. Seems to overcook that corner. There's a lot of black marks on the road there. Could have taken more curb on the left there. Right, that's a lap around the Salzburgring and the Lada. Now I have got a little bit of extra content here because I did a lap in the Volvo as well that was a couple of tenths slower than the Lada, but I just want to compare it to the Lada. Now if I open this as the base lap, that will be in the grey. If we just expand this out a bit, throttle. Now I've already got the speed down there to compare. So you can see a little bit earlier on the brake here with the Lada, but then I get off it earlier. There's a big stab of the brakes. This is in the first chicane here. I'll have a double click on that. There we go. So you can kind of see, no, that's not going to work. And again here with the, so we'll just go back to looking at the regular size. Again you can see here on the, at this hairpin here, I'm on the brakes a little bit earlier in the Lada, but then I get off a tiny bit earlier. Now one area, as you can see from the first corner there, I carried more speed in the Lada. The Lada's blue, the Volvo's the grey, all the way down this area, so this straight here, and then I braked earlier, obviously, a little bit less speed through there, but then I carried more speed all the way down, and then I braked earlier again on this corner here. You can see on the trace where I had to get off the throttle in the middle of the corner in the Lada. I think that's when I changed down to 5th. So I was definitely losing time here because the Volvo in the grey was faster through the middle of that corner. But I've gained so much time around the rest of the lap over the Volvo that it didn't make a difference. So just interesting, the cars are very similar. I found the Volvo wheel spins more and the front end isn't as planted. I like the Lada, the front end seemed to be a bit more planted for me, but without the rear being loose. I just found it a bit better under brakes. So if you need a more confident front end like I seem to do, then try the Lada, but if you want a wild beast, then try the Volvo. Right, well that will be it for this week's. Hopefully we get a good combo next week as well and I can do another video. Alright, Cheers.